Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and yep, this is the Piracy Show. Now, yesterday we were talking about some of the profound impacts the future is going to have on the game, and specifically the shenanigans outside Grimhex. Once we start to see the consequences come online in 3.0, ship damage, ship ammunition, things like that, it's going to change the way a lot of people look at their ships and the way they behave, not because they want to change, but because of necessity. You might look at your ship now and think, you know what, I used to really dig projectile weapons, but now I'm kind of thinking energy weapons because, one, I don't want to have to pay for ammunition, and two, I don't want to end up stuck in space in the middle of a fight and all of a sudden pull the trigger and hear click, 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 and go, oh shit, I'm out of bullets. So people might start to do something that I kind of predicted a long time ago that may arise, was people will start to drift towards energy weapons over projectile weapons simply because of the convenience, the lower cost in terms of ammunition, because energy weapons really don't have a cost, and the fact that you don't have to worry about being in a jam and all of a sudden, whoops, I'm all out of bullets. So that can have a profound impact on the way people play in the future. And that's something that we're probably going to see very soon. But further down the road, we're going to see something that I think is going to impact piracy and players in general a heck of a lot. Now, the NPCs that we currently have in the universe, not really all that sophisticated, let's be honest. But through subsumption and through many of the ultimately just some of the best segments Star Citizen ever puts out on ATV, featuring Tony Zurevec, where he's talking about AI and mission building and all these things. One of the parts of that a lot of people tend to forget is that in the final version of the universe, there is going to be 10% players and 90% NPCs. Now, Nuke Zap in yesterday's comments brought this to the forefront when he's talking about if most of the entities that you encounter in space are NPC, then maybe you don't have to worry so much about the other 10% or 5% or however, he expressed it. But there's another dimension to that. Let's say in the future, in this universe where it's 90% NPCs, what if the NPCs are just easy pickings? Think about it. What if the NPCs are just easy pickings? Why go to the river when you can just go to the well? You know what I mean? Now, beyond that, there's another possibility, because once again, we have more or less a player-controlled economy, commodities, components, all driven by price, availability, things like that. So let's say you're in a pirate organization and you're out there on the edge of human space or unregulated space bordering on Vandul space. And all of a sudden, one of your buddies comes back from Earth or Terra and says, dude, you won't believe what they're selling Vandul capital engines for, or shield components for. They're going for like 50 million UEC. It's sick. Oh my God, we could make so much money if we stole these things and then just parted them out and brought them to Empire. And the best part is, who's gonna complain if we just start dropping off Vandul ship components in Empire? We could probably do it and make a heck of a lot of money. That's something that could arise. That's a situation that could happen in a player-driven economy. If players start demanding these things, then if you can fulfill that demand, you've got a pirate fleet. You've got a fleet built around capturing ships, parting them out, taking all the valuable components off of them and then carting them away. What happens if that reality all of a sudden manifests itself in game, and all of a sudden you realize, holy shit, I can sit here and I can pick on NPC convoys or the odd player here and there, or I can just dip into Vandul space and I can possibly walk out, like, depending, if I take down a big enough capital ship, I could walk out with 300 million, 400 million UEC possibly. Like, that could be a possibility. Are you going to turn that down? I mean, that's a tough question, and that's something that, once again, as NPCs populate this universe, There's going to be Vanduul NPCs. There's going to be Banu NPCs. There's going to be Xian or Xian NPCs. And so if these possibilities start to open up, and as these markets kind of come to life and start to live and to breathe on their own and not within the direct control of the game developers, something like this could happen, and all of a sudden you might see pirates saying, yeah, you know, we can scrape a living here, but we can go get rich over there picking on the Vanduul. I mean, that's a thing that could really happen. So with a universe that's so filled with NPCs, it might just be that there are too many targets out there to really impact players all that much. And I kind of suspect that that was always the original intent of this system, because, you know, people have been so worried about piracy in game for so long, and so, you know, just driven to madness by it, you know, just the forum fights and all of that. It's always been kind of ridiculous, but when you think about a universe where there's the possibility of so many potential targets, where are you going to go? Really, when you're trying to make money, when you're trying to make a living, when you're trying to protect your assets, are you going to go after high risk unknowns, or are you going to go after the things that you know and the things that you understand? Think about it in the simplest possible way. If I go and I attack an NPC convoy, you know, we got the Herald there. The Herald, boom, jams his distress signal. He's trapped. He can't warp away. We're shooting him. We take down his shields, rip off his cargo, blah, 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 blah. Now, if that's a player, now we have a problem, because that player can be on Discord with his friends and he can say, I am here. I am under attack. Jamming his distress signal does nothing for us at that point, because he can, you know, he might be able to get into his clan or his org chat and still type to them. He can use any real social media platform to basically send a message off to all his friends and say, yo, I'm under attack right here, right now. And they can come. So, like, if I'm going after him, then I gotta have in my mind that there's a stopwatch running now, and I only have a limited amount of time to get away with this before, you know, you get the law enforcement or allied response. It can really complicate things in a lot of ways. What looks like a simple smash and grab can then turn into a ridiculous battle, costing you potentially a lot of money, even if you win, because you're wasting time. You're now stuck in a position. These guys could all be calling out to everybody else in the system and saying, hey, there's pirates here, help us come kill them. And then, you know, all the white knights pile in, and who knows what happens. Whereas if an NPC simply disappears off the map, is there that much of a danger there? You're probably not. You're far less exposed than if you attack other people. And so that kind of, I think, is in a way a balance, in that it'll probably be easier to take down NPCs than it will be to take down other people. And so chances are, with a universe so heavily skewed in favor of an NPC population, player versus player collisions, even in some of the worst parts of space, in some of the darkest corners of this universe, might be few and far between. Once we get to a stage in the game's development where all these NPCs are now here and now populating all these systems, and we're at the point where we can harvest ships and take components and sell them and all of that, that could have an incredible impact on the nature of piracy in the game. Now, it would be like saying, you can walk 10 miles for $100, or you can just walk to your doorstep as many times as you want and get $10. Which do you prefer, right? So, it could have a very profound impact on the nature of PvP in the Star Citizen universe. It could become a rarity, just because of the simple fact that as you're out there and you're scanning for ships, it may not tell you, oh, these are player ships and these are NPC ships. You might only see there's a ship there, who knows? And if you see that it's a player ship with an escort, you might be like, probably not. But if you see an NPC ship over there with an escort, you might be like, hey, now that's easy pickings. Which are you going to choose, right? So until we have all these things and we've seen the system fleshed out, it's really tough to tell if, like, a lot of people fear that piracy is going to become just the plague and the cancer of this game. It may end up benefiting regular players in weird ways. Like, let's say if all the NPC iron shipments to a certain refinery are disappearing, but the player iron shipments are getting through, those players are going to be getting more for their iron because there's a shortage, because all these NPC ships have been disappearing, and players would benefit from that piracy. So it's going to be weird to see how all of that develops. I mean, piracy could end up being seen as kind of like a symbiote in a way, if you know what I'm saying. Like, not an entirely attractive one, but a beneficial one nonetheless. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.